The sleepless nights, the endless demands, the feeling that parenting is draining everything from you, your energy, your patience, your very soul. You wake up exhausted, and before your feet even touch the floor, someone needs something. Breakfast, a diaper change, help with homework, a broken toy, a broken heart, the cries that come in the middle of the night, the tantrums that come without warning, the endless questions that require answers you don't always have. And somewhere in the midst of all this chaos, you wonder, is this what life is now? Is this all there is? Just giving and giving and giving until there's nothing left of you? You look around, and it seems like no one sees it. No one understands. Your sacrifice is invisible. The meals you prepare that get rejected. The clothes you wash that get dirty again within hours. The tears you wipe away in the middle of the night, while everyone else sleeps. The birthday parties you plan. The homework you help with. The arguments you referee. The fears you comfort. Who notices? Who thanks you? Society celebrates the visible achievements, the promotions, the awards, the public successes. But the parent who pours their life into raising the next generation, that sacrifice often goes completely unseen. And in those quiet moments, when the house is finally still and you're alone with your thoughts, maybe you've asked yourself the question that so many parents secretly wonder. Does any of this even matter? Is there any purpose in this endless giving? But what if I told you something that might change everything? What if I told you that heaven has been watching all along? What if this exhaustion you feel is not meaningless? What if every sleepless night, every sacrifice, every moment of patience pushed to its limit is not just parenting? What if it's something far more profound? What if there's a divine purpose hidden in every demand your child makes of you? What if God himself designed parenting not primarily to raise children, but to raise you? Today, you are going to discover a truth that will transform the way you see your role as a parent. A truth that reframes everything. Parenting is not just your job. It's not just responsibility. It's not just something you have to survive until your children are grown. It is God's training ground for your soul. Every diaper you change in exhaustion. Every tantrum you endure with patience. Every bedtime story you read when you could barely keep your eyes open. God is using it all. Not just to shape your child into who they need to become, but to shape you into who he designed you to be. And when you see this truth, when you really understand it, everything about parenting changes. Through Scripture, we are going to see something remarkable today. Something that many parents never realize. God designed parenting not primarily as a task to complete, not as a burden to bear, but as a process that transforms you from the inside out. He uses the very act of raising children, with all its difficulties, all its frustrations, all its moments of pure exhaustion, to mold you into the image of Christ, to teach you patience you never knew you needed, love you never knew you had the capacity to give, and sacrifice that mirrors his own heart, the heart of a father who gave everything for his children. Part 1. The hidden weight, when parenting feels like endless sacrifice. Let's begin by being honest about what parenting really costs. Because before we can embrace the purpose, we need to acknowledge the pain. Parenting costs your sleep, those precious hours of rest that your body desperately needs. It costs your freedom, the ability to make spontaneous decisions, to come and go as you please, to put yourself first. It costs your time, your energy, your career opportunities, sometimes even your dreams. There are days when you feel like you're running on empty, when you've given everything you have, and still, someone needs more from you, more attention, more patience, more love, more answers, more of you. And the world rarely acknowledges this sacrifice. There are no awards for the parent who got up 5 times last night with a sick child. No recognition for the mother who gave up her career to be present. No applause for the father who works 2 jobs so his children can have opportunities he never had. The daily demands never stop. They are relentless. Feeding, cleaning, teaching, disciplining, comforting, correcting, driving to practice, helping with homework, listening to problems, drying tears, breaking up fights between siblings, and then doing it all again tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that, you pour yourself out like water. And some days it feels like you're pouring into a bottomless cup. The laundry piles up again no matter how many loads you wash. The dishes are never done. The house never stays clean. The questions never end. Why? 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 Mommy. Why is the sky blue? Daddy. Why do I have to go to bed? Why can't I have more screen time? Why is that person sad? Why did Grandpa die? And you answer them. Over and over. Even when you have no answers left to give. Even when you're exhausted. Even when you want to scream into a pillow. You show up again. Because that's what parents do. But here's where God meets you in the exhaustion. Right here. In the middle of your weariness. Is where divine grace becomes real. The prophet Isaiah, in chapter 40, verse 31, writes these words that have sustained weary believers for thousands of years. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Let those words sink in. Wait upon the Lord. This doesn't mean passive inactivity. It means active trust. It means choosing to believe that God sees you, that He knows your exhaustion, that He will not let your sacrifice be in vain. This is God's promise to you, euro specifically to you, the exhausted parent reading this. When you wait on Him, when you trust Him in the weariness, when you bring your emptiness to His fullness, He promises to renew your strength, not just enough to barely survive another day, but enough to soar. Enough to find joy in the midst of exhaustion. Enough to see purpose in what feels purposeless. Part 2. Biblical view euro. Children as sacred trust. Not just responsibility. Now, let's shift how we see this role. Because perspective changes everything. The world tells you parenting is a job, a duty, an obligation, something to manage between career and personal life, something to get through, something to survive. But God sees it completely differently. In His economy, in His kingdom, in His eyes. Your children are not just your responsibility. They are not just mouths to feed and bodies to clothe. They are sacred trust. They are eternal souls entrusted to your temporary care. They are gifts from the very hand of God, placed into your arms with purpose and intention. Psalm 108. Verse 3 declares something that should stop every parent in their tracks. Children are a heritage from the Lord. Offspring a reward from Him. Did you catch the weight of those words? Did you hear what God is saying? Not a burden, not an inconvenience, not an obligation to be fulfilled. A heritage, a reward. The Hebrew word for heritage here is nachala euro. It's the same word used for the promised land that God gave to Israel. It means inheritance, possession, something of immense value passed down. And where word euro? The word is sakar euro, meaning wages. Compensation, something earned and precious. God is saying that your children are treasures entrusted to your care. They are not interruptions to your life. Euro, they are invitations into something sacred. They are not obstacles to your personal fulfillment. Euro. They are pathways to spiritual transformation. When you see them through God's eyes, when you hold them as He holds them, everything changes. So this is not burden but blessing, not duty but divine entrustment, not obligation but opportunity. Consider this. God could have designed any system for raising the next generation. He could have created humans fully formed, like He did with Adam. He could have assigned angels to train children. He could have implemented any number of supernatural solutions, but He chose families. He chose parents. He chose you. He hand-selected you for this specific child, and this specific child for you, not by accident, not randomly, not as cosmic chance, but with purpose and precision and loving intention. Before the foundation of the world, God knew this child would need you as their parent. And if God entrusted this eternal soul to your care, Then He will also equip you for the task. He will not leave you alone. He will not abandon you in the difficulty. He who began a good work in you and through you will be faithful to complete it. Part 3. How God uses parenting to train you in love and patience. Now here's where it gets deeply personal. Here's where the paradigm truly shifts. We naturally think parenting is about raising children. It's about shaping them, teaching them, preparing them for life. And yes, that's part of it. But what if God designed parenting equally perhaps even primarily for the parent? What if every challenge your child brings into your life is actually a classroom where God is teaching you? What if the sleepless nights are lessons in endurance? What if the tantrums are training in patience? What if the disobedience is developing your capacity for grace? What if every difficult moment of parenting is God working on your soul? Listen to what the book of Hebrews reveals about God's training process. This passage is speaking about God's discipline in our lives. But notice how perfectly it applies to the experience of parenting. Chapter 12, verses 7 through 11. Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as His children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? They disciplined us for a little while as they thought best. But God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in His holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Do you see the pattern? God uses difficulty to train His children. He uses hardship to produce holiness. And what greater, more consistent, more daily classroom for difficult training than parenting? Every challenge you face as a parent is an opportunity for God to develop character in you that could be formed in no other way. When your child tests your patience again and again and again, the same issue, the same defiance, the same mistakes repeated God is training you in long-suffering. That's not just a nice theological word. That's a fruit of the Spirit. It's the capacity to suffer long with someone without giving up on them. Galatians Pat. Verses 22 and 23 lists the characteristics of a Spirit-filled life: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Look at that list carefully. Every single one of these qualities is developed through difficulty. Joy comes through trials. Peace is forged in conflict. Patience requires waiting. Kindness must overcome frustration. Goodness must be chosen when evil is easier. And parenting? Parenting gives you daily, hourly, sometimes minute-by-minute practice in developing every single fruit of the Spirit. Your children are not obstacles to your spiritual growth. They are the primary instruments God uses to produce it. Part 4. Biblical examples of parents shaped by their children. Scripture is filled with examples of parents who were dramatically transformed through the process of raising their children. These stories reveal a pattern. God uses children to reshape the souls of their parents. Consider Hannah, who prayed desperately for a son, weeping year after year at the temple, pouring out her anguish before God. When Samuel was finally born, she faced the ultimate test. She had to surrender her deepest desire, her only son, back to God's service. And through that surrender, Hannah learned what true worship looks like. Consider Abraham, the father of faith, who waited 25 years for Isaac, learning patience in ways he never imagined. And then came the test on Mount Moriah, where he had to trust God with his beloved son. Through parenting Isaac, Abraham became the man of faith we revere today. Consider Mary, the mother of Jesus, who pondered every moment in her heart, from the stable in Bethlehem to the cross at Calvary. She watched her son's journey with wonder and with grief. And through that watching, through that mothering, through that suffering, she was shaped into a woman of profound spiritual depth. Parenting changed all of them. It formed them, it broke them, and rebuilt them. And God is doing the same with you. And now we come to the truth that might shake everything you thought you knew about parenting. You think you are shaping your child. You think your role is to form them into the person they should become. You think you are the potter, and they are the clay. But the deeper reality is this: God is using your child to shape you. While you're busy trying to parent them, God is busy parenting you through them. Every demand your child makes is chiseling away at your selfishness. Every act of service you perform for them is training you in humility. Every moment of patience you exercise is forming Christ in you. Every sacrifice you make for their benefit is teaching you what the cross truly means. You are being shaped more profoundly, more deeply, more eternally than your child is. This is the divine irony of parenting. This is the hidden purpose you've been searching for. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7, gives us the definition of love that most people recite at weddings. But these words are not primarily about romance. They are about the daily, grinding, beautiful work of choosing to love. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Read that passage again with your children in mind. Love is patient, euro. When they ask the same question for the 100th time, love is kind, euro. When you're exhausted and they need one more thing. It is not easily angered, euro. When they spill their milk again. It keeps no record of wrongs, euro. When they make the same mistake they made yesterday. This is not just how to love your child. This is how God is forming you to love. Every time you choose patience when you want to snap. Every time you choose kindness when frustration is easier. Every time you forgive when resentment would be justified. Euro. God is writing this passage into your very soul. He is forming you into a person who loves like he loves. Every sacrifice you make is training you in self-denial, euro, the core of discipleship. Every sleepless night is teaching you to die to self, euro, the essence of following Christ. Every moment of putting your child's needs before your own is conforming you to the image of the one who gave everything for us. Jesus said, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." And every day, in 1,000 small ways, parents lay down their lives for their children. This is the mystery of parenting. In giving, you receive. In pouring out, you are filled. In losing yourself, you find who God made you to be. You thought parenting was costing you everything. And it is. But it's also giving you everything that truly matters. Part 5. Embracing the sacred calling, euro, parenting as worship. So where does all of this leave you? It leaves you with a choice. A daily, moment-by-moment choice that will define not only your parenting, but your spiritual journey. You can see parenting as a burden to endure, euro, years to survive until your children are grown and your real life can begin. Or you can see it as worship to embrace, euro, a sacred calling that is shaping you for eternity. Because here is the truth. When you change a diaper with love, that is an act of worship as holy as any hymn sung in a cathedral. When you read a bedtime story with patience, that is prayer as powerful as any word spoken in a sanctuary. When you discipline with grace, that is ministry as significant as anything done by saints throughout history. Every meal prepared in love, every tear wiped away with tenderness, every forehead kissed goodnight. It's all worship. It's all sacred. It all matters eternally. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 and 7, commands something that sounds simple but is profoundly transformative. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. God is commanding parents to live in constant spiritual formation mode with their children, to talk about His truth at home, on the road, at bedtime, in the morning, euro. In other words, all the time. But here's the beautiful irony hidden in this command. As you teach your children, You are being taught by God Himself. To impress God's word on your children, you must first have it written on your own heart. To talk about His truth all day long, you must first be meditating on it yourself. To model faith authentically, you must first be walking in it genuinely. Your children require you to become who you're trying to raise them to be. As you impress His word on their hearts, He is impressing it deeper into yours. This is the beautiful reciprocity of spiritual parenting. You are both student and teacher in this sacred classroom. You are both being formed together. So today, right now, in this very moment, embrace this truth. Your parenting is not just raising children. It is not meaningless routine. It is not invisible sacrifice. It is the crucible where God is forming you for eternity. Every sacrifice you've made has meaning in heaven's economy. Every sleepless night has purpose in God's plan. Every moment of patience displayed is shaping you into the man or woman God designed you to become. You are not just a parent. You are a student in God's school of love, and parenting is your curriculum. The lessons you're learning here, in the mess, in the exhaustion, in the beautiful chaos of family life, These are the lessons that will echo into eternity, long after the diapers are changed and the homework is finished and the children have children of their own. What you learn through parenting will remain. The patience, the love, the selflessness, the capacity for grace. These are eternal qualities forged in the daily fire of family life. So, parent, hear me. Your calling is sacred. Your sacrifice is seen. Your labor is not in vain. Embrace parenting as worship. Receive your children as gifts, and trust that God is doing His greatest work, not just in your child, but in you.